Guys, welcome back to Critical Flick. Today, I'm reviewing The Pale Blue Eye. Blue Eye is a new mystery detective period piece with a little bit of gothic horror that is coming soon to Netflix. And it follows the story of Detective Landor, who is played by Christian Bale, who was brought in 1830 by West Point to investigate some murders of some of the cadets on campus, and he meets up with a young Edgar Allan Poe. I think the standout of this film is their dynamic. Particularly Harry Melling's performance is phenomenal. Bale is also great, but I think that Melling really steals the scenes that he's in. He's able to play such a convincing Edgar Allan Poe. As someone who really enjoys Edgar Allan Poe's works, he's kind of a strange individual, obviously, if you know anything about his past. I'm actually from the Richmond, Virginia area, and we have the Edgar Allan Poe Museum because he's from this area, so it was really intriguing to see this kind of interesting take on his origin story. The movie is obviously a work of fiction, so it isn't really an account of anything that happened in his real life. And the movie, in many ways, plays out almost like a combination of an Edgar Allan Poe gothic tale mixed with a Sherlock Holmes mystery. And I think that blend makes the movie really compelling and really engrossing. I will say right off the bat, the movie is a little bit of a slow burn, but I think it pays off by the end. There's a lot of twisting and turning and little details to follow as it moves along, and I think it even merits a rewatch. I've actually watched this movie twice, and it kind of rewatches differently a first time when you know the different twists that are coming by the end of the film. The movie really oozes of atmosphere, and it capitalizes on that gothic style, looking very dark and macabre. It has some elements of the occult, while also having some really good production design. The costuming looks really good, and it takes place in the winter near West Point, so it's kind of that creepy, dead looking vibe to the film. The film has this kind of shadow that's over top the whole movie the whole time. The cinematography is very dark and foreboding, saying that the movie is really, really dark. It's very darkly lit. A lot of the scenes take place in dark hallways or in taverns with just a little bit of candlelight. So, like, while it does work on that atmosphere, you want to watch this movie in the dark. You want to watch this movie in as dark an area as possible. I was watching it in my living room the other day, and the sun was coming in through the windows, and it was kind of actually hard to see everything that was happening. So it is best enjoyed at night. I think some of the best scenes in the film are actually some of the more quiet and somber moments involving particularly Christian Bale's character. He's someone who's really struggling as a father and not just as like a professional. So you get to see kind of him stripped away from this very professional detective work to his own personal life. And by the end of the film, it really does come full circle. So I think those moments are so well acted. He's able to show someone who's trying to be tough, trying to be this grizzled detective, but is really breaking apart on the inside. Melling's performance as Poe, like I said, is also fantastic. He really does encapsulate this very eclectic and odd individual. And the way he speaks, whether it be his southern drawl or the very poetic way he's describing things, it's just captivating to watch on screen. The movie's really well written. I know it is based off a novel, and it does feel like it could set up multiple films with these characters because their dynamic is really good. They do feel like a Sherlock Holmes and a Watson. Plot points are very clever. I think the movie is written in a way that it keeps you on your toes. It is a slower movie, but I do think it's never boring. I think that it constantly keeps you thinking what's next and misdirects you to one thing to another. You never know what to expect, and I think the ending is almost impossible to figure out at the beginning. It really does come together in a very satisfying way. If a movie like this had this kind of slow burn and you get to the end and it's kind of just a basic synopsis or a basic story and you kind of figured it out halfway through, I don't think it would be as enjoyable. It would still have those really good kind of production elements and acting, but I think the way that it comes together is really satisfying, so it's worth the wait. So if I were to rate The Pale Blue Eye, I would give it an 8 out of 10. I think it is an exceptional movie. I think it's very well crafted, very well acted, very well written. All of it comes together in just a really solid package. If you are a fan of Edgar Allan Poe and his work, if you're a fan of this gothic style, these period pieces, it really is a pretty great film. So when and if you check out The Pale Blue Eye, let me know what you think about it. Leave those comments down below. Remember to like and subscribe, and see you guys next time.